The morning sun reflected sharply off the massive glass facade of Orion Elite Motors, one of the most luxurious car showrooms in the city. The building didn't just sell cars, it sold status. From the outside, it looked less like a showroom and more like a palace of wealth, where only the chosen few dared to enter. Inside, everything gleamed. Polished marble floors sparkled under crystal white lights. The air smelled faintly of imported leather and expensive cologne. Sleek cars stood proudly in perfect alignment, their metallic bodies shining like sculptures in an art gallery. Each vehicle was worth more than most people's lifetime earnings. Salesmen in tailored suits moved around confidently, their smiles practiced, their eyes trained to identify worth, not of character, but of money. At exactly 11:17 a.m., the glass doors slid open. A man stepped inside. He was in his early 40s, medium height, with a calm posture and steady eyes. His kurta was simple, clean but clearly old. The fabric had softened with time. His sandals were worn, repaired once at the sole. In his right hand, he carried a small, weathered leather bag, the kind people usually carried important papers in, not money. The moment he entered, the temperature of the room seemed to shift. A salesman near the reception desk glanced at him casually, then looked again. His smile faded just a little. Another salesman leaned toward him and whispered, "Looks like someone got lost." Soft laughter followed. The man stood quietly near the entrance, taking in the showroom with curiosity, not awe, not greed, just quiet observation. His eyes lingered on the cars, not as possessions, but as creations. He walked slowly, carefully, as if he didn't want to disturb the perfection of the place. No one approached him. Minutes passed. The sales staff continued attending to well-dressed customers, men in suits, women with designer handbags, people who looked like they belonged. The man, however, was invisible. Finally, he walked toward a black luxury sedan positioned at the center of the showroom, the most expensive model. Its surface reflected his image faintly, like a distorted mirror showing a man the world refused to see. He gently ran his fingers across the edge of the hood, careful not to leave a mark. That's when a sharp voice cut through the silence. "Sir." A young salesman hurried toward him, his expression stiff. "Please don't touch the car." The man withdrew his hand immediately. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "I was just looking." The salesman interrupted. "Because this model isn't for casual visitors." The man nodded. "I understand. I'd like to know more about it." The salesman raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. "Do you know how much this car costs?" "No," the man replied honestly. "But I'd like to." The salesman chuckled and glanced around to see if anyone was watching. "This car starts at 7 figures, he said. "Even the down payment would be difficult." The man met his gaze calmly. "I see." Before the conversation could continue, a taller man joined them, the showroom manager. He was in his late 30s, wearing a perfectly pressed suit, a gold watch flashing on his wrist. His eyes quickly scanned the man from head to toe, assessing him in seconds. He already had his answer. "What seems to be the problem?" the manager asked. The salesman smirked. "This gentleman is interested in the signature series." The manager laughed, not loudly, but just enough to sting. "Interested," he repeated. He turned to the man. "Sir, I don't think you understand where you are." The man straightened his posture. "I know exactly where I am." The manager's smile tightened. "This showroom deals with elite clients. If you're here just to satisfy curiosity, there are other places for that." The man remained polite. "I'm here to buy a car." The manager paused for half a second, then laughed openly. A few customers turned their heads. "Buy," he said incredulously. "Sir, people come here after booking appointments, financial checks, approvals." He leaned in slightly and lowered his voice, though everyone could still hear. "Judging by your appearance, this place might be uncomfortable for you." The words hung in the air like poison. The man felt it, every stare, every judgment, every unspoken insult. Still, he didn't raise his voice. "I have money," he said calmly. "And I'm ready to pay." The manager sighed dramatically, as if exhausted. "Look," he said, "I don't want to embarrass you further." He gestured toward the exit. There's a used car market 2 streets away. You'll find something more suitable. A couple of salesmen laughed quietly. A woman customer whispered to her companion. Why did they let just anyone walk in? The man's fingers tightened around his leather bag. For a brief moment, pain flickered across his face. Not anger, not shame, but disappointment. Not in himself, but in them. He took a slow breath. I only asked for respect, he said. The manager's patience snapped. Enough, he said sharply. You're disturbing our environment. He raised his hand slightly. Security. The guard near the door took a step forward. The man looked around one last time. He saw the cars, the people, the arrogance shining brighter than the chrome. Then, without another word, he turned and walked toward the exit. Each step felt heavier than the last, not because he was weak, but because dignity had weight. The glass doors opened. As he stepped outside, the noise of the city rushed in. The doors slid shut behind him, sealing the laughter, the judgment, the rejection inside. The manager straightened his suit and scoffed. Some people should know their place. The salesman laughed again. They returned to their polished world, convinced the story was over. Outside, the man paused. He looked up at the towering glass building, not with anger, not with revenge, but with calm certainty. He adjusted his grip on the leather bag. Inside it were documents that could change everything. And soon, they would all realize the mistake they had made. Chapter 2. As the glass doors of the showroom closed, a brief silence filled the air. Then everything returned to normal. The same laughter, the same artificial smiles, the same arrogance. The manager glanced at his gold watch and said with a sneer. People like that lower our standards. The salesman laughed. Sir, people like him come to dream, not to buy. Someone nodded. Someone chuckled. And just like that, the matter was dismissed. At least, that's what they believed. None of them realized that time had quietly begun to turn against them. 33 minutes later, the afternoon sun had grown sharper. Suddenly, outside the showroom, the street stirred. Not one, not two, but 3 black luxury SUVs arrived together and came to a smooth halt. Their windows were tinted, their number plates were unusual, and the way they stopped made it feel as if the road itself had cleared a path for them. Inside the showroom, everyone froze. One salesman rushed to the window. Sir, who are they? The manager frowned. Must be VIP clients. Go welcome them. At that moment, the SUV doors opened. First, uniformed security guards stepped out. Disciplined, alert, earpieces in place. Then, the man stepped out. The same simple white kurta. The same calm face. The same old leather bag. Only one thing had changed. Now, respect walked beside him. Inside the showroom, it felt as if everyone had stopped breathing. Isn't that the same man? Someone whispered. The manager's face turned pale. That's impossible. The glass doors slid open again. This time, when the man entered, no one laughed. No one spoke. Eyes lowered. Smiles vanished. Security guards stood on either side of him, as if escorting a head of state. The manager hurried forward, panic evident in his voice. Sir. Welcome. How may I assist you? The man stopped. At the exact spot where he had been humiliated earlier. He looked calmly at the manager. You've already helped me, he said softly. The manager froze. Sir, I. The man opened his old leather bag. In the world of polished marble and luxury, the bag looked painfully ordinary. But the documents inside it. They were extraordinary. He placed the files on the counter. Silence. The kind of silence where heartbeats become audible. The manager picked up one file with trembling hands. He read it, then read it again. His hands began to shake. This is. His voice failed him. The man spoke calmly. I am the principal investor of the Orion Elite Motors Group. In that instant, it felt as though the showroom walls had shrunk. This showroom, these cars, this entire brand. He paused. They all operate on my signature. A file slipped from a salesman's hands and fell to the floor. Someone asked for water. Sweat poured down the manager's face. I didn't come here today to buy a car, the man continued. I came to see how people are treated in a place that operates under my name. His voice wasn't loud, but every word struck like a hammer. He looked around, at every face that had once worn arrogance. And I saw everything, he said quietly. The salesman who had mocked him earlier stared at the floor, unable to lift his eyes. The man stopped in front of him. You judged me by my appearance, he said. By my clothes. By my shoes. He paused. Remember this, he continued. Poverty is not in clothes. It is in thinking. Tears filled the salesman's eyes. The manager stepped forward, shaking. Sir, I made a terrible mistake. Please. The man raised his hand, stopping him. This wasn't a mistake, he said calmly. This is your habit. Then he did something no one expected. He turned toward the same black luxury car, the one he had been scolded for touching earlier. I will buy this car, he said. Everyone exhaled in relief, but his next words shook the room. Not for myself. Faces froze. This car will be donated to a charity auction, he continued. And its value will fund the education of underprivileged children. Eyes filled with tears. Heads bowed. The manager could barely stand. The man closed the files, placed them back into the bag, and turned to leave. Before walking out, he stopped. Remember this, he said. Respect costs nothing, but the price of losing it is very high. He walked toward the exit. This time, the doors didn't close on him. They opened in honor. Security escorted him. Inside the showroom, there was complete silence. No laughter, no arrogance, no voices, only a lesson left behind. Never judge someone by their appearance. Because the quiet ones often turn out to be the most powerful.